Run the meeting. He's
Oh,
just
from
gonna,
home.
yeah, he's just gonna call in.
Okay, got it.
And Alan is gonna call in as well, I think.
I think Alan was gonna call in as well.
And we're on.
Holiday calling?
Yes, but we're still trying to,
You're on, Mr.
So-
Vice.
get the go-to meeting things.
So we're gonna go ahead and have Jeff run it?
I think that was the plan, if we can get go-to meeting up.
We're experiencing technical difficulties waiting for Mr. Sorensen to call in.
No, he's called in.
Oh, he's called in?
He's just having troubles getting them.
Ah,
Okay.
some kind of technical difficulty.
Yeah, it's not letting me call in and take control of the meeting.
And maybe call one of your cell phones and put it on.
Alright,
Call Jeff Sorensen.
the audio pin is pound 40.
Calling Jeff Sorensen.
Well, he's probably on his phone on.
Are you dialed in now?
No, because you took the phone number away.
Sorry.
Pound 40 pound?
That might be in there.
Hey Jeff, Nathan here. We're trying to figure out if this call-in thing's gonna work. So, if it doesn't, I don't know, you're on your cell phone to try and make it work?
Well, I'm not on my cell phone trying to make it work. I'm actually want to go to the meeting.
Okay.
Just drop me and just came back in. My mic muted, I could open it up and see if you can hear me.
Yeah, do you guys wanna talk to him? Well, hey, stand by, I guess.
Hello?
There's Doug.
We got Doug.
Still there, Nathan?
Yeah, still here. We're just trying to figure things out.
Okay. I've got go to meeting up. I've got you on my cell phone speaker, so it'll be fine. I've got myself muted. I don't hear anything coming through my, go to meeting session.
Nothing to hear right yet.
Oh, wait a minute, there you go. I got you now.
All right.
Okay, so.
Do you want to run the meeting? Do you want Santos to do it?
Maybe let's try and see Sandra can do it this time.
All right.
Okay. All right, good morning. Gonna go ahead and call for the first item on the agenda. Move to call to order the meeting and review the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Scott, a second by Jeff. Since we do not have any public here, is there any, we have
You
to
have to
vote
vote on
on the agenda?
yeah.
Okay, aye.
Aye.
All right.
And Doug?
Doug voted aye. I
Okay.
think.
I heard.
All right, so if there's any, did we have any way we can have the public call in? Bill?
I don't know that we're taking live comments. I thought we were
Okay.
taking written
Right.
and emailed.
That was the plan.
They can they can listen and participate right now.
Okay. All right. Moving on with the agenda to number 4. Items with Mike Nolan from Verizon Engineering. And the first item on the agenda for that is discussion and possible action to approve COR number 11, upgrade of the fire alarm system in the amount of $8,206 at the Muscatine County Maintenance Facility.
Is Mike called in?
Yes, he's
Awesome.
on the call.
Mike, are
Okay.
you there?
Maybe. There you are. You might be muted.
Turn down your computer audio.
Did you hear that, Mike?
Yeah, okay, sir, I'm sorry, I was having, yeah.
We can hear you.
I'm sorry, I missed that, sorry, I understand, what was the first item, are we on, fire alarm or on the,
We're on the change order, Mike.
Okay. All right, so this change request is for, essentially, as we talked about for this coming year, adding in the fire alarm system for the courthouse. As we were looking at that, we wanted to make sure that we were providing for the jail for the new building that's compatible. Currently, the county has a couple of different providers, the admin buildings under Permar, and the jail, and I think community services under Simplex. So what we wanted to do was make sure that we had a system that was going to be compatible. We reached out to John to provide a Simplex compatible system for the maintenance building. So we have, with this change order, is a more robust fire alarm system than we had previously. Has reporting and has cellular connection to the fire department. So essentially what we have here is a partial credit for the equipment that was in with the previous, which was more or less just a smoke detector system, to this, which has alarm notification, and everything connected. And this will then be setting us up for the long term to have a full system that will be across the county with some more providers. So you can see here that this would go through the electrical contract to 7,000, and then we have the basically markup on this. So that's the recommendation, is to make this change, and then we'll essentially get the fire alarm system swapped out and installed in the maintenance facility.
Okay, is there any other questions on that?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Nathan, seconded by Scott.
Yep. Okay.
Jeff, how do you vote? Scott, or I mean, Doug, how do you vote?
I don't know if Doug is logged in or not.
We heard him earlier.
If he is, I don't know if he's caller 1, 2, or 3.
Did you get Jeff's vote?
We got Jeff's vote. And I'll vote aye.
Aye.
Unmute all.
I vote aye.
Unmute.
This is Jeff, I'm vote aye on the,
Okay,
The other 3 callers have.
This is Doug, I vote aye.
There we
okay,
go.
good,
All right,
good, perfect. Thank you, guys. All right, the next item on this with Mike is discussion and possible action to accept and scope and fee proposal revision for number 1, item amount of $8,000 to bring the existing jail hot water system into compliance.
I'm sorry, this is Mike. I can only hear Doug and Jeff, so am I still live?
You're
You
still,
are.
yes. We're on the second item for the upgrade on the hot water system for the jail.
you're live now, Mike.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Are we okay for the
We're okay for the first item. Could you explain us a little bit about the hot water system at the jail?
He's unmuted.
Mike, they're asking you to explain the hot water system at the jail.
He might not be able to hear us, maybe. I don't know.
I think that's.
Could be. I'm not sure why we're getting so much feedback from him though when he does talk.
Mike, you there? Someone want to give him a call?
Okay, I think I'm back on, so I'm going to go ahead and talk through his consulting services for the jail. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing here a little bit. So we had done an initial study looking at a potential distributed system for the hot water in the jail. And this is based off of a request from the administrator of the jail, and then also several issues we've had with hot water in the jail. After reviewing that, we determined that the current system is not providing adequate hot water, and so we need volume or capacity. And we also determined that there's not the spatial ability to put a distributed system in the jail. So based off of that, we went and reviewed the existing system to look and see what we could do to upgrade and modify that system. modification and upgrade to the existing system to provide the appropriate capacity and temperature for the hot water in the jail.
So this is just the design, it's not the actual cost of doing it?
Yes, I can answer that. This is the design.
Do we have any idea what the cost? We have a ballpark?
We have, I believe, 125,000 budgeted in next year's budget for the hot water system. That's a guess. We think that might be a little on the high side, but we wanted to get all the design work done, so July 1, when we get our new money, we can get this started.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, get a motion.
I'd move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Scott, seconded by Nathan. I vote aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
I'm just making sure it's not on mute on the phone.
Doug, are you there?
Oh, he was unmuted. Doug?
Doug, are you there?
Okay,
I guess we go with the 4 votes.
we got the 4, we'll just move forward on that. Okay. Any other updates for Mike? Having none, we'll move on to,
Thank you, Mike.
item number 5, items with the county engineer. The first item on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve a resolution 03-30.
Sorry if there's any questions, let me see if you can pass these on to me.
It was that one.
That was Mike.
That was
That was
Mike.
Mike. Oh, okay, Mike, we'll move forward, and if we have anything, we'll send you an email. Thank you. In approval of resolution 03-30-20-01, resolution to vacate the unused secondary road right-of-way adjacent to Echo Avenue in Cedar Township, adjacent to Iron City Avenue, to the Goshen Township.
Were there any questions on those documents that I sent?
I didn't have it yet.
The Iron City one, you know, we removed a structure and realigned the road, so we have unused right-of-way. The Echo Avenue one, we're replacing a structure near there, and when we're surveying, we've always seen all this junk out in the right-of-way, found that piece of unused right-of-way out near the timber. So that's, they didn't come up totally random, they came up, one clearly is a part of a project, and the other one is a project that's going to start shortly. And when it's not part of roadway that's used, no hearing is required.
Okay.
And I cited the code sections right in the resolution. But also printed them out if anybody needs to see it.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Nathan, second by Scott. This is a roll call vote. I will vote aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
This is Jeff, I vote aye.
Doug, are you there?
He's not muted.
Okay. We will move on with the 4. Number 5B.
Jeff has said that we're having some problems with phone mic possibly being intermittent. So I'm not sure why that.
Okay. Okay. The next item is discussion and possible action to approve Muscatine County DOT VFY 2021 Secondary Roads 5-year program and secondary year budget.
Yeah, they're,
There's an extra V in there.
that's supposed to be a V in there.
Yeah, it's
It's
the
just
DOT.
DOT.
DOT, okay.
I will mute number 3. Sorry. They disconnected.
That's Jeff calling you.
It's FaceTime? You wanna FaceTime me, Jeff? Alright.
I'm still there.
Looking good.
FaceTiming me now, Nathan.
Look at you, you look like a Time Life operator. He's got the headpiece on, everything.
I'm in India.
There you go.
Okay.
You can look at the ceiling for a little bit.
Yeah, the only
Yeah,
problem I'm
having
having is,
is,
I'm not getting your input on my speakers through the computer. I can hear on the cell phone, and I'm able to mute and unmute my mic.
Maybe just do it the cell phone with Jeff, cause I don't know. So our mic is not
Okay.
coming through
Yeah,
clearly.
we're having some issues.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you guys on the computer.
Okay, okay, well,
If
we'll have
it's
to,
connected in through the phone, that might be the issue. But without being on another PC or something with the headset on, I can't tell you for sure.
okay.
As long as it's
We can manage to do that. If you can stay on right the way you're at right now, Jeff, we'll work through this. So the next item is the discussion and possible action to approve the county secondary roads 5-year program and the roads secondary budget.
So,
Thought we'd start with the budget.
Okay.
Anybody need a copy? I brought copies.
yeah, I'll take a look if you got one. Oh, wait, there it is. It's just called PDF. Never mind. Here, you can have, I found it on my computer.
Oh, well, bear in mind, this is the document that the DOT has us do, so you see 2 years of actuals. The one they call the current is the year we're in, which is basically a re-estimate. And then next is the budget year. You can see the current year, we think we're gonna, down at, I'm on this, not the title sheet, the second sheet. You see actual receipts, we think are gonna be about 12,000,002. Reason that's up is because, number one, the beginning balance was up because of the work that didn't happen last year. And then more back in that 10 million range is what we think for the budget. On the third sheet, the expenditures, those are the numbers you've already approved in the county budget, so I guess I'd say, barring any questions on the budget numbers.
Is there any chance of losing those swap funds if votes at the Transportation Council change?
The actual dollars lost, no. The way they are utilized, yes.
Okay.
Right now, we're able to swap 100%, dollar for dollar. If the votes change, you're gonna go back to the 80% and, add in a few federal regulations that mostly are not needed.
Okay.
So the actual dollars, no, they aren't gonna go away. The way we utilize them and some of the administrative burden will come in, so. And They might not go quite as far, but we will not lose them.
Gotcha.
Not hearing.
Do you guys have any questions? Doug or Jeff?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
As am I.
Okay.
I
Let's go
move.
ahead and talk about the program.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did bring larger maps. A lot easier to see.
Mhm.
I'll just leave one here for Doug and Jeff
Okay.
if they come in at some point. And again, this is actually a requirement in the code that we have a map. The computer program that we have to put everything in now generates one which is not near this nice. Dennis puts this together, does a fine job on it. The ones that really pop out there are the ones planned in the current year. The ones that are local funding are all reflected in the county budget. The ones that are, say, towards the upper left, Moscow Road Farm to Market funding, that's all, 2.7 million there is dollars that belong to us being Muscatine County, but they're at the state.
Mhm.
And so that's why a lot of years we might be doing $4 or $5 million worth of work out there, but you don't see that in the local budget because it's not in the local budget. So 2.7 million there. Over to the far right, middle, 1.1 million out there on 171st, which is farm to market. We had called that local for a while, but we've changed it over because, again, the local dollars are just getting hit really hard. So 3.8. I think most of the rest are, I'm looking at the swaps. I think most of the rest are all in the local budget. The swaps have to, the swap bridges, most of those have to come in to, we have to pay for them all and get reimbursed. So they are reflected, not always, but typically bridge projects are reflected in the local budget.
How long does it take before we see those funds
We
refunded back?
typically, during the project, we don't draw down on every 5 cents, but typically if the project starts and it flows right along, we're doing pay estimates, we're asking right at that time for reimbursement. So we need a check to prove that we've expended the money, so the auditor's office gives us a copy of the check image. So, you know, it could take us a couple weeks to request it, and then it comes pretty fast. So I'd say, Santos, typically within 30 days,
You'll get something.
we get the money that we've expended back. And since the swap is 100%, it's really that dollars, they come back dollar for dollar in about 30 days. So, I mean, it's really pretty fast, pretty efficient. Unlike maybe FEMA or some other things.
There's about, what, 10 or 12 bridges then?
Yes. So then I was just gonna quick,
Okay.
you know, we're color coded, 22 being the next year out. If we go across the top, we see the, towards the top right, we see the STBG swap project on old 6, old 927 RF 58 of about 2.5 million going out there. Farm to market and federal aid dollars that you'll never see here. And you're actually gonna see, well, you'll see it if you ask me to show it to you, but you're gonna see more like $5 million go out, and slightly over half of that will be Scott County, who will be paying us back. But that's all happening at this in Ames. So yeah, I believe they had 2.6 million in federal aid and in 400,000 in farm to market. So again, you won't see that in the local budget next year. Coming down the right side, no 22s. Across the bottom, we're calling out a bridge up on 150th that is a swap project. And over the left side, bottom, we got our local culverts that we gather together, and then we have another bridge, the one on Douglas, which is also a swap project. And that's sort of it for 22. For 23, starting at the top, center, we've got the bridge on North Isett, which is a swap project. Coming on around clockwise and down above the title, we have the bridge on Trolley, which is a swap project. And then coming along the bottom, we see Stewart Road reconstruction project at $3.5 million, farm to market dollars, so again, not in the local budget. And over to the left-hand side, we have our culverts one.
Oh, there he is.
Hi Doug.
So, did want to comment on the bridge projects. To be eligible for, and we're going to get here at the end, to be eligible for farm to market, for federal bridge monies, there are certain criteria they have to meet. To really simplify, they have to be so bad that you can't have like a brand new one and say, I'm replacing that. So they have to, if you want to be specific, they're on a scale of 0 to 100. They have to be 80 or lower to consider rehabilitation, which means fixing things on them, deck overlay, guardrail, those sorts of things. They have to be more in the 50 range to be completely replaced. And then they have to be, and I think they are going to change this terminology, but they have to be functionally obsolete. What's that mean? It's too narrow. It would be where it's on a really bad alignment. Too narrow is easy to understand nowadays with the size of farm equipment. Or fracture critical, which means they were designed back when if you fail one member, you're going to fail the whole bridge. So you have to meet one of those categories. They also have to have a traffic count. And what I'm going to speak to you at the end here is, well, we also look at years of remaining life per our bridge inspectors. And we also look at things like if they're posted. If there were a bridge right there by Scott and the posting gets low enough, he can't do his business, same way with somebody's farm business. So we do try and pick posted bridges off for, well, they, as the system keeps aging, you get more and more come on. But we're starting to get down into traffic counts so low on some of these that they don't qualify. We're gonna speak to that here when I finish going around the horn on this. So 24, first one I see top right is a bridge on 120th and a bridge on 135th. They're purposefully in the same year, and we'd hope we'd tie them together to the same contractor. And then we have a structure out that's really on the corner of Pleasant Prairie and 180th. And then over to the left, we have the, this one's new, the one on the left, the paving project on that little piece of GH28, which that is the year that Eliza County plans to do their paving project. So we would look to be tied into that, but that's 1.2 million farm to market dollars. And then we'll go ahead and hit 25, which is the last year. So I'm starting at the top left. Bridge on 160th. Coming all the way around Sweetland Road reconstruction. We're showing 1.8 million in local funding there. Depends on when we get there, if it can be farm to market. But we think we've got our farm to market fund pretty well spent up. So it's local, and then we have Bridge 214 on 180th. It's a really deep old culvert there on 180th. And then our culverts in various locations. So what I wanted to speak to, we always carry 1 year out that doesn't go on here. It's kind of our pool that we pick from. And there are like 12 bridges in there that would be 5 years of life or less. And here's the bad news. 900,000, 860,000, 990,000, 780,000, one at 300,000, a million, 680, 780, 990,000 dollars on bridges with very low traffic counts. So they're not going to meet, probably not going to meet the guidelines for swap money, for federal aid money. It means you'd have to be pulling $1 million out of the local pocket or not replacing it. It's something that's, and frankly, 2 of them that we have pulled into the program here are, you know, they're low traffic counts. The last one I cited over there on 160th, it's your top left is your Goshen 4, Bridge 145. And the 2 we pulled in are lower dollars for one thing. It's 270,000 is our estimate. And you look at that and it's a low traffic count. It's a bad bridge there, so is part of that the fact that it's a bad bridge? And you know, Jeff says I'm not hauling my stuff over that bridge. That's possible. But what we're looking at, if you look at that on the map, you know, we create a mile-long dead end from either direction if we don't replace that structure. And there also happens to be a hog confinement near there that which direction they go to do their business, I don't know, but they're probably not going to be thrilled with being on a dead end, and frankly, that probably makes their level of service go lower. Just telling you some of the things that we look at there, but.
So for that example, you're saying that, let's say the 145th bridge, your local estimate is local funding 270,000, the total project,
Yeah.
how much?
Yes, total.
Okay.
Total. But But I'm also telling you, as we start going forward, we're looking at some really expensive structures on very low traffic roads that we're gonna have to think about not doing these things. I mean, we need to be replacing 2 or 3 bridges a year, which we've been doing for 20-some years that I've been here. We continue to propose that, but we're at a point where the dollars are not gonna make that happen. We're gonna have to move on to more important structures. We've got one over there on G28 where I show that red line in that paving project. And, you know, that's about 700,000, and that's something, that's one we're gonna need to do, and we're just kind of nursing it along. Mainly because, you know, I've made the statement before, but the DOT tells us we have to fiscally constrain this thing. And so we didn't need to be told to do that. We don't want to build up a bunch of money. We want those dollars to go out and build bridges and fix roads. But we don't want to be crazy about it. Dennis could tell you in his previous county, he'd have to make one map for every year because you couldn't fit them all on there. I mean, and there are counties that Bill comes in and says, I want a bridge, okay, put it on there. Pave my road, okay, put it on there. You know, the funds just don't work that way. So what's on here, we can afford under our current financing. You know, it's realistic. And the other thing I wanted to point out again, I've been calling out the farm to market money and such. They said, you see that at 3 points, and only 3 points. You see it at the time of the program here. You see it when we go to letting, and you see it when you sign a contract. So those are your times to say no on those things, because you're not going to be signing off on the bills on that, unlike the local one. And the other thing to point out is anything that's in the program can be brought forward by resolution by the board, just saying, we haven't ran into it, but we could lately, but we could run into, ooh, this bridge we need to do. So the board takes action, says bring this project forward and do it as quickly as possible. And all we gotta tell the DOT is where's the money coming from. Do we have balance we can take it out of, or do we not do some other project? But that's the ability of the Board of Supervisors to manipulate this program. So,
Keith, in 2021, are we seeing only 2 bridges that I'm looking at?
probably easier for me to look at the written document.
I think I see more in 22, but
In 2020, okay, yeah, you're seeing 103 up on York Avenue, and you're seeing the one on Douglas. And then our Cole 21 often includes some things that, you know, for the federal, for the swap, they gotta be 20 foot to be a bridge, but it might look like a bridge, just not be 20 foot long, and it might be included in there. It's like the ones that we have left, they're all over the county, but typically small ones. But yes, 2 a year is usually what we're aiming for, two or three. With just over 100 of these 20-footers or greater, you gotta figure that you need to replace 2 a year, just to stay level.
the carryover one that we have over in Scott County, is that one that you're gonna be managing as well, or is that local management with Scott County. One on the far right.
Ah, excellent question. That is a Scott County project. So that is representing our share of the dollars of the project. So that one,
That one you will not have
he's asking
oversight.
that LFU 6 on 60th Avenue, which is
Yeah,
Scott's designation for that piece of road. It's just the old west line belongs to Scott County. And Scott County has worked really well with us on projects. We've had quite a few. Once the state gifted us old 6 up there, you know, we've had quite a few projects. And, you know, the one thing I did mention, and I don't know, is we've worked on it to make sure we can do it on the DOT, but the FY22 up there on Old 6, the STBG swap, we are wanting Scott County to let, and I've mentioned that before, but the reason is if we let it and it's asphalt, we'll get one bid, they seem to get multiple bids. So that is the intent, that to try and get some better competition there. I don't know how that will work with some of the selling out of organizations, but that's our intent there. But we'll be probably somewhat joint. Well, they'll have to be, if they let it, they'll have to be the lead on managing it. But we'll probably be inspecting it.
okay.
I've got a question in regard to, on 2025 on Sweetland Road there.
Yes, sir.
With the current situation of the stability on the east side of that towards the top of the hill, what kind of testing or engineering or thought process goes into that to make sure that that's stable to be able to even do that job?
Yeah. That's a good question. The slide up there is frankly a long ways from the road. There are actually gullies there that are closer than that area. We know there were problems on that hill when I came here 21 years ago.
Right.
So there's a lot going on there. We have looked at it in the past. We've looked at it to see if we thought the road and our drainage system were perhaps the cause of the issues, which the answer is no. We thought maybe some storm sewer ran down the middle. No, it runs behind the curb. So there have been some other things going on there. I'm just going to say design time is when that's going to have to be looked at a little more thoroughly. It's like some of our bridges here, you know, we have to hire a geotech I said the state used to do, way back, used to do soil borings, test. They don't do that anymore, so we have to hire a geotechnical to do that. So that's when that's going to get looked at as we get closer to design. I do want to mention that the other thing we're running into on bridges is, if you recall the one we just went through on 120th historic, we've got 2 other historic bridges, and we have 3 other eligible to be historic bridges. Take the one on Trolley, for instance. And if you read about Trolley, it's 95% of the length of that design, which means it'd be one of the biggest ones. So the state looks at this, whoever sits in that office, and they look and they go, if they go, oh, we got 20 other of these in Iowa, now you can probably let it go. But if they go, ooh, that one, well, we think that might be kind of the only one like that, then we're going to go through the historic bridge stuff that we did, which just adds 2 years to the development of the project. It's all that simple. You have to document it. In the case of the historic ones where we were already documented, and then for some reason, the Army Corps is the arbitrator of this. And they basically try not to be real facetious, but they say, you know, you must be punished. And so we had to pay road money to our historic commission here. The good news is the dollars could stay here and do some good here, but I don't know what the next one will bring. Because again, these things, several of them are already, if we were just documenting them, we'll be out the dollars to document them. You know, they photograph them, they write up the history and say Uncle Charlie was out there in 1831 and we built it. But that's going to be some challenges coming up to our historic bridges.
And I think trolley would be a challenge to begin with, from an engineering standpoint of view, the way that the drainage that comes from the east, that tees down into, or Y's down into it, I'll say, there's a tremendous amount of volume that comes out of the east to tie in to already a substantial drainage there. And I can see where that would be an engineering challenge.
Yes. Other questions on the program?
So all of these projects, you're gonna have some sort of oversight, testing, and management of them, other than the Scott County one?
Everyone except the one to the, on the east line there, that
Okay.
Scott County will. And well, we're gonna be busy as heck, so. We're
That's why I was
probably
just
not-
asking. I
We're,
wanted to make
we're
sure.
probably not involved, but if we were in a slower year and they were busy, they might ask us to,
do it.
you know, to do it for them.
But even
We have-
even the ones that we're getting swap dollars, state funding, things like that, we're still in a sense having that oversight, still doing the testing and whatnot, is what I'm
Yes.
getting at. Okay,
The one thing, the one caveat there is if it's specialized geotechnical type of testing, then we've got a geotechnical coming out and doing the testing.
compaction testing of
Yes.
some sort, or checking for, yeah,
Exactly.
correct. Yeah, I would, all I'm getting at is we're having some sort of documentation saying that we verified the load, capacity, we did the testing, whatever it may have been that they needed. And then at the end of the day, we have some sort of document saying that that's now built to the
Yes,
compliance of what you may have already designed.
yes.
Okay, that's, yeah.
And you know, the DOT expects that of us for A, and we like to say, you know, we do that on everything regardless of the DOT's involvement. But I do want to mention the DOT shifted from, they still have their 6 districts, but instead of us reporting to District 5, who are very familiar with this, it's now Eastern Iowa, going all the way from Minnesota to the Missouri border, and the people that are in there are tough. It's you know, they're tough, and it's even already creating some interesting debate with our contractors. So I can assure you they will be thoroughly inspected
Okay.
and documented.
Okay, do we still need a motion to approve that 5-year program and secondary roads budget?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Nathan, seconded by Scott.
Can anyone hear me? Sherry?
Yep.
Yes.
Doug, we can hear you.
One question.
Oh, go ahead.
I just had one question. On this 5-year program, that doesn't include any ditching or rock in the roads or anything. That's just construction, correct?
That's correct, it's just construction.
Okay.
Jeff, do you have anything?
That's all I had on it.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Nathan, a second by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, no nays. Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of March 23rd, regular meeting.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. Very good.
So moved on the minutes.
Second on the minutes.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Vote aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
This is Doug, I vote aye.
All right. All right, the next item is any correspondence. We'll start out, Doug. Any correspondence?
No, no correspondence and committee reports. Fair Board was canceled and West Liberty Development was canceled till next month.
Okay, Scott?
I had, nothing and nothing.
Okay. Jeff?
I just had the request for information from Mr. Askew as correspondence and no meetings.
Okay, Nathan?
I had no meetings. Seems like everybody's canceling everything. With regard to correspondence, we did have a communication from Christy Roby Williams, who was passing on an inquiry, I believe from Dr. Bob Weiss, inquiring about the possibility of trying to remember the wording, a shelter in place or a kind of a lockdown order for the county. We had asked our county attorney, Alan Ostergren, if that's something that the Board of Supervisors even has authority to do before we even considered such an action. It sounds like we do not have the authority to do it, so I would say that that's not something that we can consider. I don't know if Alan's online or anything, or if he wants to. He's not. So, but that the only other thing I would note is we lost a valued member of the community and one of the members of one of the boards I'm on, the Muscatine Community Health Association, with Chuck Coulter passing. He was a man who was dedicated to improving the health, mentally and physically, of Muscatine and surrounding communities for over 40 years. Great man, he will be missed.
Okay. For correspondence, I had the same one from Ed, and then I had also one from the Home Builders Association, encouraging home building even though we're going through this current pandemic. And on committee reports, we had the We Lead on Friday. We did a teleconference meeting, and that's all I had from committee reports and correspondence. Anything else from number 9 is to receive information from county employees. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, just a quick update on projects.
That's my fault, I cut you off on that last one.
The two bridge projects, 155th Street, North Islip, that have been complete. Again, what remains on those are seeding once conditions allow that. And the bridge up on 120th Street, the Iowa Bridge plans to come back this week and start backfilling when it's dry enough. And then our G28 paving project, there's probably nothing happening. We're told no work is planned this week. They burned the trees on Van Dyke Hill there last week, but then they'll probably be back the next week to start on some work. We had a pre-construction meeting last week electronically with Triple B and the work up on they have the culvert projects, Echo Avenue, 122nd, 155th around. So they're gonna start around the 15th of April down at Echo, but noted that may change due to material availability, so which materials they get delivered to them. And then we plan to have a pre-con with Haggerty soon. They have the one up on 927 or Old 6. Again, it's gonna have to be electronic, and right now they're talking beginning work in late April. So and I went G28, and I didn't bring with, I sort of meant to, but we have a first update going out to all the property owners along there. I can email you all a copy of that if you want. I know we've had some questions, but it really mainly consisted of them coming in and dropping those trees due to the, the rules that they have to be dropped before April 1 before the bats could move in. And since they were there, they grubbed out the stumps and burned the stuff, which is quite legal to burn what grows there. So, any questions on any of that? We've been hauling, stockpiling rock, are spotting some rock today where it's drying up. So, roads are not too bad out there. I don't want to say that too well, or they'll go south on me, but that's what maintenance is up to.
Okay, thank you, Keith. I did have one other correspondence. I got a email from Mark Lofgren in regards to the Iowa Economic Development. Part of the grants available to the state for small businesses and economic development and relief funding throughout this COVID-19, and some of the applications for those are eligible, I believe, till March 31st at noon, which is tomorrow, for relief granting and funding for small businesses during this time. And I got that on Wednesday. Brian, can you give us any updates on the flooding and potentially any of the EMA items that you've been working through?
Good morning. Presently, keeping an eye on the flooding situation. Based on what I've seen this morning from the Weather Service site, we're probably going to hit moderate stage here shortly. Level off. Again, that's a 48-hour window, hard to tell. Presently, there's going to be an opportunity for not much rain locally, but north of us again is what we want to watch. They're still having some snow melting in Minnesota, Wisconsin, so we're just keeping an eye on it right now. I'll get in contact with National Weather Service hydrologists, get a little bit more information on that. Do you want to report on COVID?
Yes, anything that you may have been working through?
Presently, what we're doing right now is I have my emergency operations center. It's a virtual. It is activated at a partial. As of yesterday, there are still 10 cases, positive cases in Muscatine County. Muscatine County Public Health, Trinity, Muscatine continue to play their role in assessing the situation. I have morning briefings with them. Pretty much we will be meeting with our EOC on a Wednesday just to update everybody, go with that. As of last week, Governor Reynolds did extend her emergency health disaster proclamation, so it's extended till April 16th. And that's all I have.
Okay, does anybody got any questions for Brian?
Keeps posted.
Nope. Okay, thank you, Brian. Having nothing more from the county employees, moving on to number 10, items with the administration office. Nancy?
The first item I have is just action to authorize the chair to sign an amended Mississippi Valley Workforce Area Chief Elected Officials Shared Liability Agreement. You may recall you approved Jeff signing this a few weeks ago. However, they made an amendment to it, so out of abundance of caution, Jeff wanted to seek approval from this board to sign the amended copy.
What was the change?
They added,
a co-Clio, so in the combined region, we will have 2 American Job Centers, one in Burlington, one in the Quad Cities, and the state made the recommendation that we have a co-chief elected official appointed so that it would facilitate working with those job centers, kind of a north and south.
Got it. So that's what M, no, not M, somewhere P, section P on page 7.
it talks about it on,
I didn't catch that, Nathan.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find where it is in the agreement.
on page 1.
Oh, page
Under
1.
C.
Ah.
C1 talks about
Well, okay, got where I
the
went. Right
addition
past it.
of the co-Clio.
Okay, works for me. Move to approve.
Okay, motion by Nathan,
Second.
second by Scott. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I vote aye.
Okay. Okay, number B, review the applications received for the vacancy in the County Board of Adjustments.
Right, we received 2 applications by the deadline. Typically, how this is handled is 1 week I put this on the agenda for just public acknowledgement of who the applications are from, and then the following week it would be on the agenda for possible board action. In this particular case, on the zoning board of adjustment, the vacancy that we have can be filled by a male or a female. And so the 2 applications we received was Thomas Harper and Janelle Spees. And so that will be on next week for possible board action. And then item C is we also have a vacancy on the Muscatine County Veterans Affairs Commission. The board received 3 applications by the deadline. Those are Joseph Eliff, John Woods, and Lisa Johnson. In this particular case, because of the current makeup of the commission, we need to give preference to a female applicant. So, but that will be on the board agenda next week for action as well.
Okay.
And then the last item I have is just action to approve the March 2020 payroll claims.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion on D.
So moved.
I'll move to approve the payroll claims.
Okay,
Second.
seconded by Nathan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 0 nays. All right, we jumped ahead. I didn't realize we had that COVID update.
That's okay, we're continuing to remain with the buildings closed to the public. I think that seems to be working pretty well, that departments are dealing with individuals as they need to.
Okay. And I appreciate that work we saw the email that we'd had from Sarah in regards to that, and is there any other discussion on that? Scott, Nathan, Jeff?
Be safe, folks.
Okay, anything else for the cause? All right, meeting adjourned.